Eternal Guardians. Chapter 1. The Shattered Moon.
The twin suns of the nearest system cast a brilliant light over the surface of Velora, the feline homeworld. Its sky shimmered with iridescent hues of green and blue, and its cities floated gracefully above sprawling deserts and crystalline oceans. At the heart of the largest city, Pharanthus, lay the council spire, a towering structure of translucent metal that resonated with a deep hum, a symbol of unity among the 10 clans of the Veloran cats. Captain Lyra Sunscratch adjusted her utility belt as she stepped onto the bridge of the Silverclaw, her sleek exploration vessel. Her fur, a mix of smoky gray with streaks of white, shimmered under the ship's ambient lights. Her sharp, emerald eyes scanned the crew, who were busy preparing for the mission. "We're approaching the coordinates, Captain," said Jack Swiftpaw, the pilot, his golden fur glinting under the console's neon glow. His sharp claws danced across the controls, steady and precise. The ship vibrated as it exited hyperspace, revealing a massive asteroid field dominated by a shattered moon. The mission was clear: retrieve an ancient artifact believed to be hidden within the moon's remains. Legend spoke of the Lunar Fang, a relic that could tip the balance of power in the galaxy. "Status report," Lyra ordered, her tail flicking with anticipation. Tess Nightsong, the ship's science officer, tapped her holographic display. Her midnight black fur and violet eyes gave her an air of mystique. "Scans indicate high energy readings coming from the largest fragment." But she hesitated. "There's a disturbance in the field. Magnetic anomalies." Lyra's ears twitched. "Noted, Jax. Take us in slowly. Everyone stay sharp." The Silverclaw maneuvered through the field with precision, dodging debris and fragments glowing faintly with residual lunar energy. As they approached the moon's largest fragment, a structure emerged, a jagged temple carved into the rock, pulsing faintly with a greenish light. "Unidentified vessel detected," growled Core Stonefang, the ship's weapons specialist. His massive frame and dark striped fur made him an imposing presence. He stared at the console, his claws flexing. "It's closing fast." Lyra clenched her jaw. On screen, the view screen blinked, revealing a sinister vessel, the Nightshade, a pirate ship notorious for its crew of exiled Velorans. Leading them was Zara Redfang, a renegade with fiery red fur and a reputation for ruthless ambition. "Lyra Sunscratch," Zara's voice crackled through the comms, smooth yet venomous. "I should have known you'd sniff out the Lunar Fang. Hand it over, and I might let you keep your tails." Lyra's ears flattened. "You're too late, Zara. It's ours." Zara smirked. "Then let's see who claims it first." The comms cut off as the Nightshade launched a barrage of plasma bolts. The Silverclaw jolted violently, alarms blaring. "Shields at 80%, Tess reported, gripping her station. "Core, return fire," Lyra commanded. The Silverclaw fired its plasma cannons, expertly targeting the Nightshade's engines. Jack spun the ship with nimble precision, dodging incoming fire. "Lyra," Tess shouted. "The magnetic anomalies are destabilizing the field. We need to move fast." "Jax, get us to the temple," Lyra ordered. "Core, cover us." The Silverclaw darted toward the moon fragment, weaving through the chaos. With a final thrust, it landed on a jagged platform near the temple's entrance. The crew disembarked quickly, weapons drawn. The air was thin, and the ground pulsed faintly beneath their boots. The temple loomed ahead, its entrance guarded by a pair of ancient statues, feline warriors with glowing eyes. "Let's move," Lyra said, leading the team inside. The interior was dark, lit only by the faint luminescence of runes etched into the walls. Tess scanned the area with her handheld device. "The artifact is close, but the energy signatures are fluctuating." "Stay alert," Lyra warned. "Zara won't give up easily." As they descended deeper into the temple, the air grew heavy with tension. They entered a vast chamber, its centerpiece a pedestal holding the Lunar Fang. The artifact glowed with a silvery light, its surface inscribed with intricate patterns that seemed to shift and move. Finally, Jax breathed, his tail flicking with excitement. Lyra stepped forward cautiously, her eyes narrowing. "Tess, scan for traps." Before Tess could respond, a deafening roar echoed through the chamber. The ground trembled as the statues from the entrance came to life, their glowing eyes fixating on the crew. "Defensive positions," Lyra shouted. The statues charged, their movements unnaturally swift. Core stepped forward, his plasma rifle unleashing a barrage of energy bolts. Tess hurled a small EMP grenade, momentarily disrupting one of the statues. "Jax, cover Tess!" "He'll grab the Fang," Lyra ordered, sprinting toward the pedestal. The moment Lyra touched the artifact, the entire chamber lit up with blinding light. The statues froze mid-attack, their glowing eyes dimming. But the victory was short-lived. A sharp laugh echoed from the entrance. Zara and her crew stormed in, weapons drawn. "Thank you for doing the hard work," she sneered. "Now, hand it over." Lyra held the lunar fang tightly, her eyes blazing. "Over my dead body." "So be it," Zara hissed, signaling her crew to attack. The chamber erupted into chaos. Energy blasts lit up the room as Lyra's team fought desperately to hold their ground. Lyra ducked behind a pillar, firing at Zara's crew while clutching the artifact. "Kor, cover me!" Lyra shouted, making a dash toward the exit. Kor roared in response, unleashing a barrage of covering fire. Tess and Jax followed close behind, their movements synchronized as they navigated the chaotic battlefield. As they reached the temple's entrance, the magnetic anomalies outside intensified. Debris from the asteroid field hurtled toward the moon fragment, shaking the ground violently. "We need to get back to the Silverclaw now," Tess yelled. The crew sprinted toward the ship, dodging falling debris and blasts from Zara's crew. Lyra's heart pounded as she clutched the lunar fang, its strange energy pulsing through her. The Silverclaw roared to life as they boarded, its engines straining against the unstable environment. Jax pushed the ship to its limits, narrowly avoiding the collapsing moon fragment. As they escaped into open space, the shattered moon behind them imploded, sending a shockwave rippling through the asteroid field. The crew collapsed into their seats, panting. "We did it," Lyra said, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her. She held up the lunar fang, its glow brighter than ever. "But at what cost?" Tess murmured, her eyes dark with worry. Lyra's gaze hardened. "This is just the beginning. Whatever power this artifact holds, we can't let it fall into the wrong paws." The Silverclaw sailed into the void, its crew battered but resolute. Unbeknownst to them, the lunar fang's glow intensified, its patterns shifting ominously, as if awakening something ancient and powerful.
Chapter 2: The Awakening.
The Silverclaw glided through the swirling mists of the Zintari Nebula, its sleek silhouette illuminated by the nebula's faint bioluminescent hues. The ship was silent, save for the gentle hum of its engines. In the heart of the vessel, Captain Lyra Sunscratch stood in the war room, the lunar fang hovering above a circular console. Its silvery glow bathed the room in an eerie light. "This artifact feels alive," Tess Nightsong whispered, her violet eyes fixed on the relic. She ran a scanner over the object, but the readings were erratic, refusing to settle into comprehensible data. "It's more than alive," Lyra said, her tone grim. "It's sentient." Jack Swiftpaw leaned against the wall, arms crossed. His golden fur was still singed from their escape at the shattered moon. "Sentient or not, it's got Zara chasing us like a mouse. We need to figure out what this thing does before she catches up." Kor Stonefang, the weapons specialist, growled from his position by the door. "Let her come. This time we'll finish her." Tess frowned. "It's not just Zara we need to worry about. The energy signatures coming from this artifact are unstable. If we're not careful, it could tear this ship apart." Before Lyra could respond, the lunar fang emitted a low hum that reverberated through the room. The markings on its surface began to glow brighter, shifting into new patterns. Lyra's fur stood on end as she felt a strange pull, like the artifact was reaching into her mind. "Everyone back," she commanded, drawing her plasma pistol. But before anyone could react, the room plunged into darkness. Lyra blinked, disoriented. She found herself standing in a vast, empty expanse of shimmering silver light. The air was thick with an otherworldly energy, and the ground beneath her paws felt like liquid metal. "Where am I?" she muttered, gripping her weapon tightly. "You are in the Nexus," a deep, resonant voice replied. Lyra spun around to see a towering feline figure materialize from the light. Its body was semi-transparent, its fur shimmering like stardust. Its eyes burned with an intense, unearthly glow. "Who are you?" Lyra demanded, her ears flattening. "I am Zareth, the last guardian of the lunar fang," the figure replied. "You have awakened the artifact's power. It is both a gift and a curse." Lyra narrowed her eyes. "What kind of power?" Zareth's gaze darkened. "The lunar fang is a key, to what even I do not fully know. It was forged by the Celestine, an ancient race that vanished millennia ago. They imbued it with the power to reshape reality, to open gateways to realms beyond comprehension." Lyra's stomach churned. Why was it hidden? "Because power like this breeds war," Zareth said, his voice heavy. "It destroyed my people. and now it has awakened in your hands." Before Lyra could question further, the vision dissolved, and she was back on the Silverclaw. The room's lights flickered back on, and her crew stared at her, wide-eyed. "Lyra, are you okay?" Tess asked, stepping forward. Lyra shook her head, trying to steady her breathing. "The artifact, it spoke to me, or something connected to it did. We need to destroy it." Tess' eyes widened. "Destroy it? But we don't even understand it yet." "I understand enough," Lyra snapped. "It's dangerous, Tess. It's already destroyed civilizations." Jax frowned. "If it's that powerful, how do we know it can even be destroyed?" "Well, figure it out," Lyra said firmly. "But first, we need to lose Zara. Jax, get us to the nearest safe harbor." The Silverclaw emerged from the nebula into open space, its trajectory set for the neutral station of Karos, a hub for traders, mercenaries, and smugglers. The station's massive structure floated like a mechanical beehive, its exterior covered in docking bays and glowing advertisements in dozens of alien languages. As the crew docked and disembarked, Lyra kept the lunar fang locked in a secure container. She didn't trust anyone, especially in a place like Karos. The bustling corridors were filled with aliens of every shape and size, their voices blending into a cacophony of bartering, arguing, and scheming. "We split up," Lyra said, addressing her team. "Tess, gather intel on anything related to the Celestine or the lunar fang. Jax, resupply the ship. Kor, stay on high alert. Zara might already be here." "And you?" Kor asked. Lyra's gaze was steely. "I'm going to find someone who can help us destroy this thing." Lyra navigated the winding alleys of Karos, her paw resting on the hilt of her plasma pistol. She finally reached her destination, a dimly lit tavern called the Obsidian Claw. Inside, the air was thick with smoke and the scent of alien spices. She approached a figure cloaked in shadow at the back of the room. "I hear you deal in secrets," Lyra said, sliding a small data chip across the table. The figure leaned forward, revealing a feline face with silvery fur and piercing blue eyes. "Depends on the secret," the stranger purred, inspecting the chip. "Ah, Captain Sunscratch, you've been busy." Lyra's tail twitched. "You know who I am?" "I know many things," the stranger said cryptically, "including the fact that you've come into possession of something extraordinary." Lyra's fur bristled. "Can you help me destroy it?" The stranger's expression darkened. "Destroying the lunar fang would be unwise. Its power is beyond comprehension, but I can help you control it, for the right price." Before Lyra could respond, a deafening explosion rocked the tavern. The walls shook as smoke filled the room. Lyra drew her weapon, her ears straining to catch the sound of approaching footsteps. Zara and her crew stormed in, their weapons trained on Lyra. "Going somewhere, Sunscratch?" Zara taunted, her fiery red fur practically glowing in the dim light. The stranger melted into the shadows as chaos erupted. Lyra dove behind a table, returning fire as Zara's crew spread out. The tavern patrons scrambled for cover, adding to the pandemonium. Lyra activated her comm. "Tess, Jax, Kor, we've got company. Meet me at the ship." "On our way," Jax's voice crackled back. Lyra fought her way out of the tavern, weaving through the narrow alleys of Karos as Zara's crew pursued her. She reached the docking bay just as the Silverclaw powered up, its engines roaring to life. "Hurry, Captain!" Kor shouted from the ramp. Lyra sprinted aboard as plasma bolts sizzled past her. The ramp closed behind her, and the Silverclaw launched into space, narrowly escaping Zara's clutches once again. As the crew regrouped in the war room, Lyra placed the lunar fang on the console. Its glow was more intense than ever, and the markings now pulsed rhythmically, like a heartbeat. "This thing is going to get us killed," Jax said, his voice grim. Lyra stared at the artifact, her mind racing. "Then we need to find someone who can stop it. We're heading for the Oracle of Sarathis. If anyone knows how to deal with this, it's her." The crew exchanged uneasy glances, but no one objected. The Silverclaw set a course for Sarathis, the fate of the galaxy hanging in the balance.
Chapter 3: The Oracle of Sarathis.
The Silverclaw emerged from hyperspace into the orbit of Sarathis, a planet shrouded in perpetual twilight. Its surface was a patchwork of dense forests and glowing bioluminescent rivers. At its heart stood the Spire of Knowing, an ancient tower that pierced the clouds. The Oracle of Sarathis, a being of legendary insight, resided there, offering answers to those brave enough to seek her wisdom. Lyra Sunscratch stood on the bridge, her emerald eyes fixed on the towering spire. The lunar fang sat securely in its containment field, but its pulsing glow filled the air with a sense of urgency. Tess, what's the status of the spire's atmosphere? Lyra asked. Breathable but dense with energy fluctuations, Tess Nightsong replied, her violet eyes narrowing at the readings on her console. We'll need to proceed cautiously. The spire's electromagnetic field is interfering with our systems. Caution's not exactly our style, Jack Swiftpaw muttered with a smirk, his golden fur catching the dim light of the bridge. Today it is, Lyra shot back. Core, prepare the landing team. We don't know what's waiting for us down there. The Silverclaw descended toward the surface, its thrusters cutting through the planet's thick, glowing mist. They landed on a rocky plateau at the base of the spire. The crew disembarked, armed and alert, with the lunar fang secured in a reinforced case. The ascent to the spire was treacherous. The air buzzed with static energy, and strange, ethereal creatures flitted through the mist, their translucent forms vanishing as quickly as they appeared. Lyra led the team, her plasma pistol drawn, as they climbed the ancient spiraling pathway carved into the stone. Anyone else feel like we're being watched? Jax muttered, his ears swiveling. We are, Tess said softly, her gaze darting to the shadows. The spire's alive in its own way. It's observing us. Core growled low in his throat, his grip tightening on his rifle. Let it watch. If it makes a move, it won't like what happens next. They reached the spire's entrance, a massive archway adorned with glowing runes. As they stepped inside, the air grew heavy with an unexplainable weight. The walls seemed to shimmer and shift, as if the spire itself was a living, breathing entity. In the center of the chamber stood a pedestal, atop which hovered a sphere of pure light. The oracle's voice echoed through the room, deep and resonant. You seek answers, Lyra Sunscratch. The crew tensed as a figure emerged from the light. The oracle was a feline unlike any they had seen, a being of pure energy, her form outlined in shimmering gold. Her eyes burned with an intensity that seemed to pierce through Lyra's soul. Yes, Lyra said, stepping forward. She placed the lunar fang on the pedestal. This artifact, it's dangerous. We need to know how to destroy it. The oracle's gaze fell on the artifact, and the chamber trembled slightly. The lunar fang is not meant to be destroyed. It is a fragment of the Celestine's legacy, a key to their knowledge and power. To destroy it would be to sever a link to the very fabric of creation. Lyra's ears flattened. Then how do we stop it from falling into the wrong paws? The oracle's expression softened. The fang's power is not inherently evil. It responds to the intentions of its wielder. But its activation has awakened forces that have long slumbered. The Voidborn stir. Voidborn? Tess asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Ancient beings who dwell in the spaces between realities, the oracle explained. They were imprisoned by the Celestine eons ago, but the lunar fang has weakened their bonds. If they are not stopped, they will consume all life. The crew exchanged uneasy glances. Lyra's tail flicked as she asked, How do we stop them? To seal the Voidborn once more, you must reunite the three Celestine artifacts, the lunar fang, the solar claw, and the star shard, the oracle said. Together, they form the celestial trinity, a weapon of unparalleled power. And where do we find these other artifacts? Lyra pressed. The solar claw lies within the burning heart of the Maelstrom Nebula, the oracle said. The star shard, its location is unknown, hidden even from me. Lyra clenched her fists. Great, an impossible mission. The oracle's gaze softened. You are not alone, Lyra Sunscratch. The Celestine chose you for a reason. Trust in your crew and your instincts. Suddenly the chamber trembled violently. The oracle's form flickered as her voice grew urgent. They are coming. Outside the spire, the mist swirled violently as shadowy figures emerged from the darkness. The Voidborn were monstrous, feline-like forms with elongated limbs and glowing, hollow eyes. Their movements were unnatural, as if they were distorted reflections of reality itself. We've got company, Core shouted, raising his rifle. The crew formed a defensive line as the creatures advanced. Jax fired his blaster, the bolts piercing the Voidborn's shadowy forms, but failing to slow them down. Tess threw an EMP grenade, which detonated with a pulse of energy, momentarily disrupting the creatures. Lyra grabbed the lunar fang, its glow intensifying as she held it. The artifact's energy coursed through her, and she felt a surge of clarity. The fang can repel them, she shouted. Cover me! The crew fought valiantly, their weapons barely holding back the Voidborn. Lyra stepped forward, the lunar fang radiating a brilliant light. She focused all her willpower into the artifact, and a wave of silvery energy erupted from it, pushing the Voidborn back. The creatures howled in unearthly anguish as they dissolved into the mist. The air grew still once more, and the spire's glow dimmed. Back aboard the Silver Claw, the crew gathered in the war room. The Lunar Fang sat on the console, its glow subdued but steady. "Well," Jack said, breaking the silence. "Looks like we've got a scavenger hunt on our paws." "2 more artifacts," Tess murmured, her expression troubled. "And no idea where one of them is." Lyra's gaze hardened. "Well, find them. We have to. The Voidborn won't stop until they've consumed everything." Kor growled, "Let them try. We'll be ready." As the Silver Claw set a course for the Maelstrom Nebula, Lyra couldn't shake the Oracle's final words from her mind. "The Celestine chose you for a reason." What that reason was, she didn't know. But one thing was certain. This mission was far from over.
Chapter 4. The Inferno of the Maelstrom Nebula.
The Silver Claw hurtled through the void, its destination set for the Maelstrom Nebula, a turbulent region of space known for its fiery storms and gravitational anomalies. The crew worked tirelessly, preparing for what was sure to be their most dangerous mission yet, retrieving the Solar Claw, the second of the Celestial Trinity. Captain Lyra Sunscratch stood on the bridge, her emerald eyes locked on the swirling vortex ahead. The nebula loomed like a living inferno, its fiery tendrils reaching into the darkness of space. The Lunar Fang sat in its containment field, its glow pulsing steadily, almost as if it sensed the proximity of its counterpart. "Scanners are struggling to penetrate the nebula's core," Tess Nightsong reported from her station. "We're flying blind in there." Jack Swiftpaw smirked, his golden fur catching the dim light. "Flying blind is my specialty." Kor Stonefang, standing by the weapons console, growled, "Let's hope your specialty doesn't get us all killed." Lyra's tail flicked with irritation. "Enough. Focus. We're not here to bicker. We're here to win." The Silver Claw plunged into the nebula, its shields straining against the intense heat and radiation. The ship jolted violently as gravitational waves battered its hull. Jax gripped the controls with steady paws, maneuvering the vessel through the chaotic currents. "Keep us steady, Jax," Lyra ordered, her voice calm but firm. "Tess, track any energy signatures that match the artifact." "I'm trying," Tess said, her claws flying over the console. "But the interference is off the charts." Suddenly, a loud alarm blared across the bridge. "Unidentified vessels on our tail," Kor barked, his eyes narrowing. "Looks like Zara found us again." The view screen flickered, revealing Zara Redfang's ship, the Nightshade, emerging from the nebula's fiery tendrils. Flanked by 2 smaller attack crafts, it began firing plasma bolts at the Silver Claw. "Evasive maneuvers," Lyra shouted. "Kor, return fire!" The Silver Claw weaved through the nebula's chaotic storms, dodging plasma blasts while firing back with its cannons. The smaller attack crafts darted in and out of the chaos, peppering the ship with laser fire. "This is a waste of time," Jax growled. "We'll never reach the artifact if we're stuck in a dogfight." Lyra's mind raced. They couldn't afford to lose Zara now, not when they were so close. "Tess, can you create a decoy signal?" Tess' ears perked up. "I can rig a pulse to mimic our energy signature. It won't last long, but it might buy us time." "Do it," Lyra commanded. "Jax, as soon as the decoy's ready, take us into the storm." Tess activated the decoy, sending a pulse of energy into the nebula. The Nightshade and its escorts hesitated, their weapons momentarily ceasing fire. Lyra barked. Jax pushed the engines to maximum, propelling the Silver Claw deeper into the nebula. The fiery tendrils grew more intense, and the ship's hull groaned under the pressure. "I've got something," Tess exclaimed. "A massive energy signature dead ahead. It matches the Solar Claw." Lyra's heart raced. "Jax, take us in. Everyone else, gear up." The Silver Claw broke through the storm, emerging into a calm pocket of space at the nebula's core. Before them stood a massive structure, an ancient Celestine station, its surface glowing with molten patterns. At its center was a pedestal, atop which rested the Solar Claw, a crystalline artifact radiating fiery energy. "Scans show intense thermal activity," Tess warned. "That station's barely holding together." "We don't have a choice," Lyra said, strapping on her gear. "Kor, Jax, you're with me. Tess, stay on the ship and monitor our status." The landing party descended onto the station, their boots clanging against the scorching metal. The air shimmered with heat, and the ground beneath them glowed faintly. "Keep moving," Lyra said, leading the way. "The artifact's just ahead." As they approached the pedestal, the Solar Claw's glow intensified, its fiery energy pulsating like a heartbeat. Lyra reached out cautiously, but as her paw neared the artifact, The station trembled violently. "What now?" Jax muttered, drawing his blaster. The ground split open, and from the molten depths emerged a massive guardian, an ancient Celestine construct made of magma and metal. Its feline form towered over them, its molten eyes glowing with menace. "Hostile detected," Kor growled, raising his plasma rifle. "Fall back!" Lyra shouted, firing at the construct. The plasma bolt struck its molten body but had little effect. "We can't fight that thing!" Jax yelled, dodging a swipe from the construct's fiery claws. Lyra's mind raced. The construct wasn't just a guardian. It was connected to the artifact. If they wanted the solar claw, they had to find a way to neutralize it. "Tess, we need a solution," Lyra shouted into her comm. Tess' voice crackled through the comms. "The construct is drawing energy from the station. If you can disrupt the power conduits, it should weaken it." "Got it," Lyra said. "Kor, Jax, cover me." Lyra sprinted toward the glowing conduits lining the walls of the chamber. She fired her plasma pistol at the first conduit, causing it to explode in a shower of sparks. The construct roared, its movements slowing. "Two more to go," Tess said. Lyra destroyed the second conduit, but the station's instability grew worse. Molten metal dripped from the ceiling, and the ground trembled beneath their paws. "Make it quick!" Jax yelled, firing at the construct to keep it distracted. Lyra targeted the final conduit, her heart pounding. With a well-aimed shot, the conduit exploded, and the construct let out a deafening roar before collapsing into a pool of molten metal. The station shuddered violently as the solar claw's glow intensified, its energy destabilizing the structure. "Grab it and go," Kor shouted. Lyra snatched the solar claw from its pedestal, the artifact's fiery energy coursing through her. The team sprinted back to their ship as the station began to collapse around them. The silver claw launched from the station just as it imploded in a burst of fiery energy. The crew sat in tense silence, their breathing heavy. "Status?" Lyra asked, clutching the solar claw. "Shields holding," Tess said, her voice steady. "But we've got incoming. Zaris back." The Nightshade emerged from the storm, weapons blazing. Jax pushed the engines to their limits, weaving through the fiery tendrils of the nebula. "Hold on," he shouted, diving toward the nebula's edge. The silver claw narrowly escaped the chaos, leaving Zara behind in the storm. As the ship entered open space, Lyra placed the solar claw beside the lunar fang. The two artifacts pulsed in unison, their energy resonating. "One more to go," Lyra said, her voice firm. "The star shard." Kor crossed his arms, "and no idea where it is." "Well, find it," Lyra said, her determination unwavering. "Because if we don't, the Voidborn will destroy everything." The crew exchanged resolute nods as the silver claw charted its next course. The stakes had never been higher, but Lyra knew one thing for certain. They weren't done fighting yet.
Chapter 5. Into the Shadowed Expanse.
The silver claw drifted in orbit around the barren planet of Zarathis, the last known waypoint of the Celestine star maps. This lifeless world was rumored to hide a gateway to the star shard, the final artifact needed to complete the celestial trinity. Lyra Sunscratch stood in the ship's war room, the lunar fang and solar claw resting on the central console. The two artifacts pulsed faintly, their energy resonating in a rhythm that seemed to beckon the third. The crew gathered around, their faces etched with determination and exhaustion. "This is it," Lyra began, her voice steady but firm. "If the star shard exists, it's here. Tess, what's the status of our scans?" Tess Nightsong tapped her console, her midnight black fur catching the faint light. "The planet's surface is riddled with ancient ruins. There's one location emitting an unusual energy signature, a deep chasm near the equator." "Sounds like our kind of place," Jack Swiftpaw said with a smirk, leaning against the wall. Kor Stonefang growled, "If it's anything like the last two missions, we should prepare for a fight." Lyra nodded. "We always do. Tess, stay on the ship and monitor the energy patterns. Jax, Kor, you're with me." The landing craft descended through Zarathis' thin atmosphere, kicking up clouds of gray dust as it touched down near the chasm. The landscape was bleak, with jagged rocks jutting up like skeletal remains. The air was eerily still, broken only by the distant hum of the artifact's energy. Lyra led the way, her plasma pistol holstered but ready. The chasm loomed before them, its depths obscured by a swirling black mist. "Doesn't exactly scream welcome, does it?" Jax muttered, peering into the void. Lyra activated her comm. "Tess, anything on your end?" "Nothing conclusive," Tess replied. "But the energy signatures are growing stronger the deeper you go. Be careful." The team descended into the chasm, their path lit by the faint glow of bioluminescent fungi clinging to the walls. The deeper they went, the more the air felt charged with an unnatural energy. They emerged into a vast underground chamber, its walls adorned with ancient Celestine carvings. In the center stood a massive obelisk, its surface etched with glowing symbols. At its apex hovered the star shard, a crystalline artifact that shimmered with an iridescent light. "There it is," Lyra whispered, her eyes locked on the artifact. Before they could approach, the chamber trembled. From the shadows emerged a figure cloaked in darkness, a voidborn unlike any they had encountered before. Its form was feline but distorted, its limbs elongated, and its face a hollow void. It spoke in a voice that echoed through the chamber, dripping with malice. "You dare to claim the star shard?" it hissed. "You will not succeed. The voidborn will rise, and your kind will be erased." Lyra's fur bristled as she drew her weapon. "Not on my watch." The voidborn lunged, its movements unnaturally swift. Kor fired his plasma rifle, the bolts tearing through the creature's shadowy form, but barely slowing it down. Jax threw an explosive charge, creating a fiery barrier that forced the creature to retreat momentarily. "Tess, we've got a voidborn," Lyra shouted into her comm. "Any advice?" Tess' voice crackled through the comm. "The star shard's energy might be able to weaken it. Try to activate it." Lyra turned her focus to the obelisk. The carvings on its surface pulsed faintly, as if responding to her presence. She reached out, placing her paw against the cold stone. The symbols flared to life, and a beam of light shot toward the star shard. The artifact pulsed brightly, and the voidborn screeched, recoiling as the light struck it. But instead of retreating, it grew larger, feeding off the artifact's energy. "This isn't working," Jax yelled, dodging a swipe from the creature. Lyra gritted her teeth. The artifact's energy was too powerful to control directly. They needed to complete the celestial trinity. "We need the other artifacts," she shouted. "Get back to the ship and bring them here." As Kor and Jax retreated to retrieve the Lunar Fang and Solar Claw, Lyra stood her ground, dodging and firing at the Voidborn to keep it distracted. The creature's attacks were relentless, and the chamber began to collapse under its rage. Finally, Kor and Jax returned, carrying the two artifacts. Lyra placed them alongside the star shard, and a surge of energy erupted from the obelisk. The three artifacts resonated in perfect harmony, their combined power creating a radiant shield that forced the Voidborn back. The creature let out a final, deafening scream before dissolving into the shadows, banished by the Celestial Trinity's power. The chamber stabilized, and the artifacts floated together, their energy now calm and controlled. Lyra approached cautiously, feeling the weight of their power. "Tess, we've got the star shard," she said into her comm, "and the Voidborn is gone, for now." "Good work," Tess replied, relief evident in her voice. "But I'm picking up a massive energy buildup. Whatever you did, it's destabilizing the planet." Lyra's ears flattened. "Of course it is. Everyone back to the ship, now!" The team raced through the collapsing chasm, the ground shaking violently beneath their paws. They boarded the landing craft just as the surface began to break apart, and Jax piloted them back to the Silver Claw at breakneck speed. As the Silver Claw ascended into orbit, Zarathus erupted in a massive explosion, sending shockwaves rippling through space. The crew watched in awe and silence as the once barren planet was reduced to fragments. Back aboard the ship, the crew gathered in the war room. The Celestial Trinity floated in the containment field, their combined glow illuminating the room. "We've got the artifacts," Lyra said, her voice steady. "Now we just need to figure out how to use them to seal the Voidborn for good." Tess frowned. The Oracle mentioned that the artifacts respond to the wielder's intentions, but using this much power could have consequences. "We don't have a choice," Lyra said. "The Voidborn are out there, and they're not going to stop until they've consumed everything." The crew exchanged determined glances, their resolve unshaken despite the odds. As the Silver Claw charted a course back to the Oracle's spire, Lyra couldn't shake the feeling that their greatest challenge was still ahead. The Voidborn were growing stronger, and the Celestial Trinity was their only hope. But wielding such power would come at a cost, one she wasn't sure they were ready to pay.
Chapter 6: The Final Seal.
The Silver Claw emerged from hyperspace, returning to the twilight-shrouded world of Zarathus. The spire of the Oracle loomed against the darkened skies, a beacon of ancient wisdom and foreboding power. Inside the war room, the Lunar Fang, Solar Claw, and Star Shard floated together in perfect harmony, their energies intertwined in a radiant glow. Captain Lyra Sunscratch stood at the center of her crew, her emerald eyes locked on the artifacts. The weight of the mission pressed heavily on her shoulders. The Voidborn were stirring across the galaxy, their malevolent presence threatening to consume everything. The Celestial Trinity was their only hope, but its power was as dangerous as the enemy they faced. Approaching Serathis, Jack Swiftpaw announced from the pilot's seat. Landing in 5, Tess Nightsong adjusted her scanner, her voice tinged with concern. The Voidborn's energy is growing stronger. They know we're here. Core Stonefang growled, flexing his claws. Let them come. They'll regret it. Stay focused, Lyra said, her voice calm but commanding. This is the endgame. No mistakes. The crew disembarked at the spire's base, the glowing mist parting to reveal the Oracle standing at the entrance. Her form shimmered with golden energy, her piercing gaze falling on the Celestial Trinity in Lyra's arms. You have done well to gather the artifacts, the Oracle said, her voice resonant and serene. But the final step is the most perilous. The Voidborn will not let you succeed without a fight. We didn't come this far to fail, Lyra replied firmly. Tell us what we need to do. The Oracle gestured for them to follow, leading them deep into the spire's heart. They descended into a massive chamber lined with glowing runes, its centerpiece a circular platform inscribed with Celestine symbols. The platform thrummed with energy, pulsating in time with the Trinity. This is the seal of eternity, the Oracle explained. It is the only mechanism capable of binding the Voidborn forever. But activating it requires more than the Trinity's power. It demands a sacrifice. Lyra's ears twitched. What kind of sacrifice? The wielder of the Celestial Trinity must channel its energy through the seal, the Oracle said. In doing so, they will become one with the artifacts, their essence binding the Voidborn to their prison. The chamber fell silent. Lyra's crew exchanged uneasy glances, the weight of the Oracle's words sinking in. There's no other way? Tess asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The Oracle's gaze softened. None. The Voidborn cannot be destroyed, only contained, and the seal must be maintained for all time. Lyra took a deep breath, her tail flicking as she steadied herself. Then let's not waste any time. As the crew prepared the Celestial Trinity for activation, the chamber trembled violently. The runes along the walls flared, and a deafening roar echoed through the spire. From the shadows emerged the Voidborn, a swarm of monstrous feline-like beings, their hollow eyes glowing with malevolence. At their head was a towering Voidborn overlord, its form a chaotic mass of darkness and glowing tendrils. They're here! Kor roared, raising his plasma rifle. Defensive positions, Lyra commanded. Tess, keep the artifacts safe. The battle erupted in chaos. Kor unleashed a barrage of plasma bolts, his aim precise as he tore through the Voidborn swarm. Jax darted between the shadows, using his agility to outmaneuver their attacks while firing his blaster. Tess worked frantically at the console, stabilizing the Trinity's energy as it fed into the seal. Lyra faced the Voidborn overlord, her plasma pistol blazing. The creature roared, its tendrils lashing out with devastating force. She dodged and countered, her movements quick and calculated. Lyra, Tess shouted, the seal is ready, but we need the artifacts in position. Lyra nodded, sprinting toward the platform with the Trinity in her arms. The Voidborn overlord moved to intercept her, but Jax and Kor launched a coordinated attack, drawing its attention. Go, Captain, Jax yelled. We've got this. Lyra reached the platform, placing the artifacts in their respective slots. The Lunar Fang, Solar Claw, and Star Shard glowed brighter than ever, their energies converging into a column of light that shot upward, piercing the chamber's ceiling. The Voidborn howled in agony as the light spread, forcing them back. But the Overlord remained, its form distorting as it fought against the Trinity's power. Now, Lyra, the Oracle urged, channel the energy into the seal. Lyra stepped into the center of the platform, her paws gripping the Trinity as its energy surged through her. Pain lanced through her body, but she held firm, focusing all her willpower on the seal. The chamber trembled violently as the Voidborn Overlord launched a final desperate attack. Lyra screamed, the Trinity's energy coursing through her like fire. The seal absorbed the power, its runes glowing brighter and brighter until the entire chamber was bathed in blinding light. When the light faded, the Voidborn were gone, their forms dissolved into nothingness. The chamber was silent, save for the faint hum of the seal. The celestial trinity hovered in the air, their glow subdued but steady. "Lyra?" Tess' voice broke the silence, filled with trepidation. Lyra stood at the center of the platform, her form glowing faintly. Her emerald eyes met her crew's, filled with a mix of determination and serenity. "It's done," she said softly. "The Voidborn are sealed, but I can't leave." "What do you mean?" Jax asked, stepping forward. "The seal needs a guardian," Lyra explained. "Someone to maintain the Trinity's balance. If I leave, the Voidborn will escape." Tess' eyes filled with tears. "There has to be another way." "There isn't," Lyra said, her voice steady. "You all have to go. The galaxy needs you." Kor clenched his fists, his dark-striped fur bristling. "We're not leaving you here." "You don't have a choice," Lyra said, a faint smile on her lips. "This is my path." The Oracle stepped forward, her gaze solemn. "Your sacrifice will be remembered, Lyra Sunscratch. You have saved countless lives." Lyra turned to her crew, her heart heavy but resolute. "Thank you for everything. Now go." Reluctantly, the crew returned to the Silverclaw. The ship ascended into orbit, its crew silent as they watched the spire of Sarathis fade into the distance. Years later, the story of Lyra Sunscratch became legend. Her name was spoken with reverence across the galaxy, a symbol of courage and selflessness. The Silverclaw continued its voyages, its crew carrying her legacy forward, their bond unbroken. And on Sarathis, the celestial trinity glowed within the seal of eternity, its light a testament to the hero who gave everything to protect the galaxy. Lyra stood watch, her spirit unyielding, a guardian of the balance that would endure for all time.